Hey everyone, today we're talking about why many small business owners fail to get sales or clients and how to fix it. So, we're not just going to talk about the problem, we're going to go straight into the problem, but then we're going to dig deeper into the solutions for the problem. Before we get started, I do want to let everyone know that we do have a sponsorship opportunity available at this moment. It will not be available forever, but if you would like to sponsor Boss Babe Blog, here is a QR code to go directly to the sponsor page so you can have your business listed as one of the sponsors on our Boss Babe Business Show. Now, tonight we did have our show, but I didn't get an opportunity to shout out our wonderful sponsors. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on this live before we get straight into why many small business owners fail to get sales or clients and how to fix it. And these sponsors are going to be listed on our show for the remainder of 2026. So for the rest of the year. And if you join now, you can be listed for the rest of the year too. But let me go ahead and connect to Instagram. And I'm going to give each sponsor we'll do it this way. I'll do first half sponsors on this video, and then I'll do the other half on the next video. The first half will be our lifetime members. The second half will be our members. And then any sponsors that found us on social media that just want to learn about us. So first lifetime member we have is Bling with Shell. Thank you, Bling with Shell, for your sponsorship. She provides nationwide jewelry. And you can use a QR code or you can visit the website that is available here. And then let's see what else we got going on. Oh, I got to share this live because I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to see this. The next sponsor that we have is MJ's Tees and Custom Designs. So MJ's Tees and Custom Designs.com or 229-234-2741 is where you can get your business swag apparel, custom apparel, and seasonal apparel. All right, let's see. Ooh, shout out to 210 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. All right, let's see. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I'm on the right video. Yep, we are. All right, the next sponsor that I'm shouting out is Charlie Shops. Text to order, text 757-842-0556. That is Charlie Shops, one of our show sponsors. I'm doing my last little post. Give me a second, y'all. I got community. I'll be posting my events inside of my membership chats. And now I'm about to post it on social media and give you guys an opportunity to look at our sponsors before we get started. So everybody just come on in. If you're a small business owner, feel free to share in the chat what business you own, what solutions you provide, what state you're watching from. You are welcome to join on in the conversation. All right. Okay. And I think we've got our last sponsor, and then we're going to go ahead and get started, which is Travel with MJ. Actually, we got one more after her. So travelwithmj.net, we do the heavy lifting so you can travel light. If you didn't guess it, travel is what we are promoting. So now we're going to go ahead and do our last sponsor and get started with the conversation. JC Fashion Finds boutique style that fits your everyday and your standout moments. Shout out to our Instagram viewers. I appreciate you all for joining. And let's go ahead and have this conversation. All right. So why many small business owners fail to get sales and how to fix it. If you are an entrepreneur, a small business owner, a creator, an artist, and you are struggling to gain sales, clients, leads, or you haven't had any yet, like zero sales, zero clients, all of that, I'm going to give you a list of why many small business owners fail to get sales or grow them. So let's go ahead and start off with about 3 to 5 reasons for why, and then let me give you some ways to fix it. So the first thing is afraid to look silly. A lot of entrepreneurs and creators are afraid to look silly. They're afraid to mess up. They're afraid to not be perfect. And that obsession with perfection keeps them from promoting their business and stepping out on multiple platforms. Now, it's okay to have a marketing strategy and decide on how you want your PR strategy to look. However, in the same breath, it's not okay to hold back on promoting your brand simply because you're scared of not looking perfect. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some situations where you just want to wait before you start talking on things or promoting or advertising certain things. But there's a lot of situations where you have to just put yourself out there. You have to dip your toe in the water and then you just got to jump in the pool. And a lot of entrepreneurs simply do not jump in because they are afraid of looking silly. And the way you're going to fix that is you're going to get out of this mindset of worrying about anybody else's perception of you and understand that someone else's perception of who you are is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to follow through with your dreams, your goals, your growth, and your development with integrity, with passion, and with consistency. So that when people who come to you know, they know that you're known for a specific thing. That's what your responsibility is. Your responsibility is to go for your dreams and be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. Your responsibility is not lying within other people's perceptions of you. And when you are worried about what other people think, that means that you are leaving the heavy weight of being responsible for what other people think of you. That's not your responsibility. And it's not anything for you to focus on. I can't tell you, I said this in my last live, how many times in my journey of entrepreneurship where a person says something to me or about me, about how I won't be successful, about how something doesn't work, about how something's stupid, or about how this isn't the right way to do things. I can't tell you how many times a person has said that to me. And because I don't operate from a place of worrying about their perception of me, I operate from a place of me worrying about my perception of me. And I know that if I'm going out there, I'm being consistent, I'm showing up, I'm elevating my brand, I'm creating systems for my business that work to bring in leads and sales and retain clients that I've had for years, then I know that I'm doing something right. So I'm not focused on someone else's perception of me. Another perfect example, when you start to get serious about your dreams and your goals, there are a lot of things that you have to have discipline with that you didn't have discipline with in the past. Maybe that's your work-life balance. Maybe that's your boundaries. Maybe that's your communication. Maybe that's your work hours in general. Maybe that's your play hours. You're not going out as much. Whatever it is, a lot of times when you start making adjustments to align with where you're trying to go, people tend to make that about themselves. They tend to take that personally. I had times where I really wasn't able to be as social as I normally would. And I had friends who understood that because they understand how hard I'm working for my dreams, my goals, and my clients. And then I have friends who just jump to their own conclusion of what that meant to them. And at the end of the day, I had to accept that it's not my responsibility to create a perception for either of them. So if you understand it and you see it because I've communicated to you what it is, then you see it for what it is. And if you don't, that's still not my responsibility. And I'm not going to put that weight of worrying about what you think about me on my shoulders. So if you want to fix being afraid to look silly, then you have to let go of your need for validation from other people about your dreams. And you have to let go of the idea that other people's perceptions of you is the reality of who you are. At the end of the day, you're not responsible for what someone thinks of you. You're responsible for your actions. You're responsible for what you actually do and don't do. And you're responsible for how you show up and how you continue to push through your integrity, your growth, your development. That's what you're responsible for at the end of the day. Other people's perceptions or opinions that are not based off actions and follow through and not based off real numbers, that's not your responsibility. All right, moving on to the next one. The next one is failure to be repetitive. Sometimes it's not a question of do people want what you have to offer? It's a question of are you offering it enough? And a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize that. So they offer something one time. Hey, thanks for joining. Hi. Hello, Habayas. Hopefully I said your name correctly. You can correct me in the comments if I didn't. And hello, AL Publishing and Consulting. Just going on here talking about why many small business owners fail to get sales or clients and how to fix it. So if you hear anything that resonates with you, feel free to share. And if you want to share what state you're watching from or your website, you are more than welcome to do so. So like I was saying, a lot of times it's because, where do we leave off? Oh, failure to be repetitive. It's not that they don't want what you have to offer. It's that you're not offering it enough. Repetition is important, especially when a customer is telling you that they're open to hearing what you have to say. If they subscribe to your newsletter, if they join your group, if they listen to what it is you have to say, that is them verbally and sometimes actually literally telling you that they are open to hearing you. So it's not a matter of are they interested? It's a matter of are you offering it enough? It takes a consumer at least 7 times to see something on average before they make that purchase. 7 times. And I would argue that because our retention has actually decreased, like we're unable to actually like retain. Also, we are unable to like stay focused on one thing. Our attention span as well has decreased. I would even argue that it might take longer than 7 times for a person to see your product. Because how many times have you said, I need to purchase this, and then you completely forget to purchase it? But then an ad pops up and it tells you to go purchase the item. And then you remember, oh, I got to purchase this. Then let's flip the script. How many times have you thought, I need to purchase this? You keep forgetting to purchase it. And every time that you want to purchase it, you're not able to, or it's not the time for you to do it. And then you wait. And in the moment when you're like, hey, it's time for me to treat myself, there was something that I wanted, you can't remember what it was. Both of those are the cause or both of those are a result of either someone promoting consistently and really sharing their business, or someone not promoting enough. And you have to choose which one you're going to be with your brand. I'm not saying that you need to break your back. I'm not saying that you need to work yourself down like a dog, but I am saying that your time has to be extremely intentional, and every second of your day needs to be dedicated to your growth, your sales, your solutions, and your empire, building your empire. So keep that in mind, and don't tell yourself that people don't want what you have to offer. Ask yourself, are you offering it enough? Because talking about your business 2 times out of the month, that ain't gonna cut it for a lot of people. People need to be reminded. Posting one email newsletter one time, depending on your brand and your layout, your strategy, that ain't gonna cut it. You got to be more specific. You got to be more consistent, and most importantly, you got to be more repetitive about your brand and what you provide. People should always think about you. You should just be on their minds. I had a client tell me that I'm everywhere on their feed. She's like, if I'm not in your group, it's a post that you posted on your personal page. If it's not on your personal page, it's on your newsletter. If it's not in your newsletter, it's in our group chat. Like, I'm everywhere. I'm consistently reminding people that, hey, I'm here. And when you are ready to invest in yourself, come and consider bossbabeblog.com. Or when you're ready to shop with a small business, come and shop through a business that's verified at bossbabeblog.com. So you have to stay repetitive and consistent, because there's people out here who want to spend money on you and just can't remember to do it when they're ready, or simply just don't know about you or don't know enough about you. Stay repetitive. Repetition for a lot of people equals credibility. And when it comes to the algorithm, search engine optimization, sometimes in many cases, repetition can equate to credibility, which increases your chances that your website or your page will be ranked at the top of the search engine when people are looking for a product that you sell, or when people are looking for your brand. So when you are repetitive and consistently posting content on your website, consistently updating your descriptions of your products, consistently adding blogs or posts, consistently talking about new items that you have available, consistently going live and introducing yourself on different platforms, your business is constantly popping up in the feed as what is relevant. And relevance is oftentimes related to how repetitive and consistent you are with posting your content. Not always, but in many cases, they're looking at your consistency. They're looking at the quality of the content that you're producing. So you have to be repetitive. That's one of the reasons why business owners miss out on sales and they fail to get sales and clients. They're simply just not repetitive. The next thing is not intentional with their time. Sometimes they're just not intentional with their time. Like, they spend their time on things that are not going to get them sales, in rooms that are not going to help them with sales or growth or their mindset. You got to be intentional with your time. You can't sit in negative spaces for too long. I'm not saying don't have a place for you to release, because I have that as a human. I think everyone should have that. But there's a difference between having a space where you release, you yell, you get it out, you shake it out your body, and then you get back to work. There's a lot of times when I see entrepreneurs that will spend most of their content posting about something that is redundantly non-productive. Like, for example, you make 20 posts about how nobody supports you and you're never gonna, when I get big, you just make 20 posts about that. And then when I scroll through your page, I can't even find the service that you provide. Like, where's the intentionalism behind that? Even if you're going to make a post about somebody not supporting you, and a lot of people are going to look at that, be intentional. What time of the day are you making this post? Where is the post linking them to? What tags are you putting on the post? What location are you tagging with it? What website are you dropping in the comments? Like, let's get intentional with what we're posting and what we're doing and how we're spending our time. Everybody's not intentional. They'll be invited to spaces, networking events, communities, platforms, and just kind of show up, like just wing it. Hey, sometimes it's better to show up than to not show up. But in many cases, you could have taken a little bit of your time and dedicated that to your preparation to see a better return on your investment. But due to the fact that you weren't as intentional, you missed out on sales and people who would have purchased from you if you just had been a little bit more intentional about your message, your call to action, and what it is that you're trying to deliver to the clients. So being intentional is extremely important. And that is one of the reasons why people don't gain sales. And now you have another solution to that, which is to dedicate more time and also Track yourself. There should be like a 90-10% rule, 90% productivity, business, and 10% relaxation. Well, not relaxation, but like, what's that word? Extracurricular, things like that. But you got to have a 90-10 or 80-10, or figure out your percentage, but just make sure you're intentional about it. All right, moving on to the next one. So we said, afraid to look silly is the first reason. Who cares about what these people think? Get out there and promote. Half the people who have something to say about what you're doing don't even have the courage to start what you're doing. That's just the truth. So if you're going to live your life worrying about what someone's going to think of you, and not pursue your dream, you're going to live your life missing out on the greatness that was made for you because of the calling that you have. So you got to make the decision. Is it more important to look perfect or look quote unquote good? Or is it more important that you are living in your calling? Make that decision for yourself and make it quick, because time is of the essence and no day is promised. The next thing is, we have too much energy. We spend too much time people watching. So it's kind of similar to what I said before. But one of the reasons why a lot of business owners struggle with gaining sales and clients and growth is because they spend so much time people watching. You got too much time on your hands if you always have something to worry about when it comes to what the next person is doing. I don't see how a person who is productive and making money and like really out there, like with motion and clients, has time to even sit and be focused on what the next person is doing. I don't get it doesn't correlate for me, because people who are extremely successful or are building to be successful in whatever area are not spending energy and time on that. If you're sitting in a room worrying about what the next person is doing, you are not making enough money, or you have not put enough responsibility on your plate that is focused on being intentional. That is my experience, because every time I sat and looked at another person talking about how someone's not doing this, talking down on them, whether it's publicly, whether it's private, and then I look at their performance of their business, and then the kind of messages that they're sending out, they're feeling disheartened. They're feeling discouraged. They're not seeing the sales they want to see. There's no traction going to them. It's like they're a ghost. And that's because you're spending all your energy worrying about what the next person is doing. I had someone chase me down, virtually chase me down on social media, from post to post to post in a community where I was posting about collaborations with professionals, to tell me underneath each post that it didn't make sense, it was stupid, it's not going to work, it's an insult, this isn't a good idea. They literally chased me from post to post to do that. If you have that energy and time to do that, you are not making enough money, or you don't have an emotion. That's just it. So all that energy that you're spending worrying about what someone else is doing and how they're building their craft could be invested and poured back into yourself. There's a quote that I don't know if it's her quote or if she took it from somebody else and it was requoting it, that Beyonce said in a video. And it was like, don't talk about what you're going to do. Just be about it. Don't worry about what the next person is doing. Just do it. Don't tell people what they need to see or what you want to see. Just be the change you want to see. Something of that nature. And when you take that concept and you build with that, you just become a beast of productivity, because you're not worried about other people. But I see too many entrepreneurs worried about what the next person is doing. And that worrying energy can be spent on making money, on growing your own business. That's free energy and time that you're giving to somebody. And it's not getting you anything back except for unnecessary stress, time, and energy wasted. So stop people watching. Worry about yourself. If you're not at the sales goal that you want to be at, there's absolutely no reason. Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Absolutely no reason whatsoever why you should be worried about what the next person is doing. Stop trying to give commentary, advice, and unsolicited advice and opinions to other people. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. I can't tell this enough. It's two sides of this, and let me tell you why. The first side is, some people don't want to hear what you have to say, simply because either A, y'all are not going to the same places, and that's not a negative thing. Y'all simply are not going to the same places. Or B, because they simply don't want to hear it from you, because it's unsolicited. They didn't ask you for it. They didn't want it from you. You're wasting your energy. You're wasting your breath that can be spent on building your own brand. That's the first side of things. The other side of things is, sometimes we don't speak from a place where you don't know what it is you're talking about. I have had so many unsolicited opinions provided to me from people who, I can't even say professional, but people. Some of them had businesses and some of them didn't. And they were just dead wrong. So, we grow. I think that we're all going to grow and learn that something that we thought was right, we learn later on it's not right. And sometimes things change. It was right in the past and it's not right anymore. But to just be so adamant and so loud about telling someone else how to do something, and then just to be loud and wrong is insane. That's like double work, double crazy work. So, that energy and time can be spent on your own brand, your own business. If you're not a beast at what you do, an expert at what you do, that energy should not be pouring out into other people of telling them what they need to be doing. We need to be focusing back here, focusing back here. The best way I can simplify this, when I worked in retail, I did district training. I would train different store managers. I would train different key holders so they can make sales at their location. One of the biggest lessons that was taught and reiterated to me over and over again, when I would say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to take on that, or hey, I want to add this, constantly my leader would say, when home is taken care of, you can go do that. Because they knew how much I love to travel. They knew how much I love to train people. So before I got to the place where I was training people and traveling, the constant repetitive reminder was, when home is taken care of, you can go and do that. And I had to keep that in my head. And that's what motivated me to get things done even faster, because I was already working hard. But once I started outperforming the previous year's sales, the previous manager's sales, started reaching like number 7, number 13, number 10 in the district for conversion, for sales, for a lot of different key performance indicators in my boutique. Once I started like really performing like that, I was able to leave my home location and go to other locations to help there, to train there, or have people come to me. And that's really what I wanted to do. So I know that there's a calling out there where you want to help other people, or you just want to give your opinion. Sometimes it's not really to help. Sometimes it comes from a insecure internal issue that we have going on. We need to go get some therapy. But whatever it's coming from, you want to do that, but you need to focus back on home. If home is not top performing, we don't need to be focused on anything else outside of home. And once I adopted that mindset, I started to see so much more growth in my store quickly, exponentially, because I was giving that energy to my team. So sorry if that took me a little bit longer to get that part of the message out, but it's just extremely important. And I just wanted to share that. The next thing, let's see, practicing, they do not practice discernment. This is another reason why some small business owners fail to get sales. They don't practice discernment. This world is full of people who all have opinions on different things, and half the time have no data on what they're talking about, and don't even have examples for what they're talking about. Okay. And half the time don't even have experience on what they're talking about, but they will compare themselves to you, even though you guys are in two completely different boats. And sometimes entrepreneurs make the mistake of not practicing discernment when receiving that information or feedback. We got to practice a discernment, because if you don't, you're going to end up where a lot of people end up, which is never actually pursuing or executing for their dream or their passion, all because of what somebody said, or an idea or an opinion that they gave you, and doesn't even hold like enough water, weight, value, whatever you want to call it, for it to even be considered when it comes to your business and your dreams. You got to learn to practice discernment. And the best way to do this is to check credentials, experience, and consistency on who it is that you're speaking with. Because oftentimes people don't have that consistency or that repetition. You don't always have to be, they need to either be where you're trying to be, or they need to be going to where you're going. One of those two. And when you look at their social media, their website, their presence, if it doesn't scream what it is that you're looking for, you don't really always need to be taking advice from those people. You can also look at their stats as well. You can look at their clientele. Do they have reviews? Do people talk about their services? Do they have a community built around them, a foundation? Because a lot of times people are just talking from nothing. They have a business, an LLC, and then they're just talking, and it's got all kinds of advice for you. You can't take everybody's advice. You've got to practice discernment as an entrepreneur, or else that will be one of the reasons why you miss out on clients and sales. So the next thing is, we need some initiative. This is the biggest thing. I'm going to go through all the rest of them, and I'm going to end on this last message. So we said failure to be repetitive is one reason why entrepreneurs fail to make sales. The solution to that is to post more, sell more, talk more about your brand. It takes a consumer at least 7 times before they make a purchase with your products. And that was the previous stats. So I'm going to make a educated guess and say that it's probably going to take a consumer at least like 10 to 15 times before they make the purchase on your products now, because of our retention is decreasing because of technology and all of the stuff that's been put on our brains. So you see that people's attention span has decreased, as well as their ability to retain certain pieces of information to remind them to go make that purchase, their brain. So it's just like social media, technology, a combination of that is not allowing our brain to do what it naturally does. And the stress levels does also contribute to that. So I would even argue and say, get it out there at least 15 times. But you got to be more repetitive. That's the solution. Post more, share more, talk more about your brand. The next thing is they're afraid to look silly. And if you're someone who's afraid to look silly, I got two solutions. The first one is, who the heck cares? Because you're worried about people's opinions who don't even have the courage to go for what they want in life. We cannot worry about people's opinions when they don't even have the courage to go for what they want in life and go for their calling. Who are you scared to look silly in front of? And then you have to make the decision, which is the mindset of, am I going to just focus on not looking silly and stay complacent in my life? Or am I going to go for my calling and be okay with falling every now and then and getting myself back up and brushing myself off because I'm living in my purpose? Make the decision. Which one is more important to you? Not looking silly or going for your calling? Which one's more important? Living in your calling, living in your passion. The next thing is the people watching. They're so focused on watching other people. There's two different type of people watchers I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the first one where you worry about what everybody else is doing to decide on what you're doing. Absolutely not. For example, you go to a networking event and then the first question that's coming out your mouth is, who's all here? Who's coming? Who cares? If you are there, you show up 1,000% for yourself. That's why a lot of people miss out on sales, because you allow the outside factors to determine what your internal factors are going to be. And that is a lack of business integrity. And it does not mean it can't grow and change. But when you are someone that changes based off of the environment and based off what a person may or may not be able to give you, or how important a person may be to you, that is when you're not going to see sales and growth for your business, because you're going to be known for being the person that is flaky, you're changing and inconsistent. You want to be known for whatever it is that you're trying to be known for. You need to be consistent at being known for it, no matter what room you walk into and no matter how many people are around you. Stop the people watching. Don't worry about what the next person's doing. Focus on yourself. Now, the second option, the second part of people watchers that I have are the ones that have enough energy to have something to say about someone else's dreams and goals. You got people out here who genuinely take their time to do that. And if you have enough time to sit in a room and focus on what the next person is doing, you're not making enough money. You're just not. I don't know anyone that's making great money who is focused on that person not being able to reach their goals, or, non-productivity. I don't know anyone that's making good money or that is being successful or growing their business that I talk to, and that's the conversation that we have. I just don't. I don't. The only people that I've seen do that, like I said in the previous part of this video, are people that when I actually go and check out their website or their social media platform, it looks depressing. It looks like they're discouraged. It looks like they're just angry at people. They don't seem very pleasant, or they weren't pleasant when I interacted with them. It's only people who are not making enough money or not seeing enough growth that have enough time to criticize what the next person is doing when they have not even focused on studying their own craft. So avoid being that person and focusing on yourself, because that energy that you're pouring into focusing on other people can be spent on becoming a beast at whatever it is you want to be a beast at, so you can see that growth in sales. I promise you that investment, it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a huge difference. The next focus was not being intentional. People are not always intentional enough with their time. Be intentional. And I'm definitely looking about being more intentional. I'm on a mission. I love that. But yes, be intentional about why you're in the building, what you're here to do, what you're here to talk about, what message you're trying to share. Be intentional. Add some intention to what you do. Add some pep in your step. If you're going to attend something, make sure you show up with some energy, some effort. If you're going to sign up or commit to something, make sure you show up and follow through. Be intentional, because that intentionalism transfers, and your audience, your consumers, your clients, your followers, your patrons, whatever you want to call them, your supporters, can feel that energy. And if they feel that consistency and that passion and that heat behind what you do, they're going to be more inclined to make a purchase and want to shop with you or even donate to you. All right. Next one that we have is, let's see. The last one was need initiative. So this one is probably one of the most important ones. This is kind of like a combination of accountability, as well as having the initiative to go and do things. But a lot of reasons why many business owners fail to get sales is because they lack initiative. They come into entrepreneurship thinking that there's going to be a clock that dings at every hour and tells you what you're supposed to do to grow your business. That's not realistic. As an entrepreneur, you are responsible for everything. And it is a huge culture shock if you're used to the 9-to-5 culture where you are not responsible for everything. Even when you're a manager, store manager, district manager, whatever, you're still not responsible for everything. Everything doesn't fall on you. And so when you become an entrepreneur, everything falls on you, including whether or not you make sales. So that mindset of like, maybe when you worked at a 9-to-5, because I've heard people say this in 9-to-5s, oh, we didn't make any sales because it was raining outside. There weren't a lot of people, so there was nobody to sell to. I've heard that in a retail environment. Is it valid that it was raining? Yes. But does that have anything to do with how you approach your customers and how you push for sales? Absolutely not. Those are two different things, and you need to have your non-negotiables. So as an entrepreneur, you need initiative. When things aren't going the way you're expecting them to go, you can't sit and pout. You can't sit and complain. You can't sit and make every opportunity to give yourself negative self-talk. And you definitely can't sit and hope. There ain't nothing wrong with having faith, but you need to be moving too. We can't be sitting and just hoping that things are going to change when we're not doing anything to see that change. We can't expect anything. And if you're not okay with the fact that you have to work for that, you got to either let go of entrepreneurship or you got to go hire somebody ASAP so they can be the person to do that work. And I'm not talking about hiring them to promote or advertise. I'm talking about a business manager, because there's a difference. Advertising and promoting requires me sharing your business. Managing your business requires me doing things that need to be done as a manager, just like you would hire a store manager for a corporation. That does require income. It does require funding. It can be outsourced, depends on where you're going, what the price point will be, but it will cost you something. So when you're doing it yourself, you have to have that initiative for yourself. If you're seeing that you're low on sales, guess what? Sounds like you need to take a sales course. If you're seeing that you're struggling with putting yourself out there, guess what? Sounds like you need to be looking up podcasts to go interview on or platforms to be interviewed on. If you're seeing that you're struggling with networking, guess what? Sounds like you need to take some socialization classes. Sounds like you need to get with people who are great at networking. If you're seeing that nothing is working, guess what? Sounds like you need to document what you've already done and document the new things that you're going to try and set a date for how long you're going to do it for. If you're seeing that you still feel disorganized, guess what? Sounds like we need to take a class on organization. Take the initiative to find a solution. Because just saying simply that it didn't work and you didn't succeed because of this is simply not enough as an entrepreneur. There's no one to go point to and say it's their fault. It's all on you. So take the initiative, and you have to have that initiative. And the solution to that, how you can fix that, if you don't have that initiative right now, is to make a list of all the things that you want for your business and make a list of all the things that you feel like are stopping you from getting to it. And then start researching solutions for each of those things on that list. Get organized, create a business plan, but you have to take initiative. And another solution to taking initiative is getting around other business owners that don't make excuses and consistently show up for themselves. Not so you can drain them, not so you can hope that it runs off on you, but because you're going to actively make the choice to study how they do things and step in and support and be a part of their energy, and also create that energy for yourself if you want to see more growth in that area. So hopefully this video has provided a little bit of light for entrepreneurs that are truly struggling with sales. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of direction and also some things to think about, some food for thought. In the meantime, I did enjoy having this live with everybody. I hope that you guys watched the live before that as well. We're going to move into hidden gems. So I don't know if I'll be posting this on Instagram as well, but I am going to be talking about hidden gems, top selling products, and then things that small business owners want to consider when spending money on ads, and also trying to gain more sales. So excuse me, but we'll be talking about that next. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes. You can watch on my YouTube channel if you want to be a part of the conversation.